podcast. You are with us live, and you are with us with a very special guest all the way
Recording
from
in
South
progress.
Dakota. We are with Julie Garreau. Nice to meet you finally, officially.
So nice to meet you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you. So Julie is with Cheyenne River Youth Project. Sorry, I get a little nervous still after so many seasons. So she's with the Cheyenne River Youth Project that she founded. She is the executive director, and we are so excited to have her here with us today to learn more about this project for this youth center that's happening in South Dakota in the beginning of the Graffiti Jam Red Can that just started just a couple of years ago, even though the project has been around much longer than that. And then we're going to talk a little bit more also about this project coming to Chicago as we continue to celebrate Family Resemblance, the evolution of Chicago-Style Graffiti, and how graffiti has helped the teens over in South Dakota. So Julie, why don't we start with a little background on you, and then you could share the video that you have put together, this trailer, so that the audience can learn a little bit more about the Cheyenne River Youth Project.
Sure, I'd love to. So, as you say, and I want to also, before I begin, I wanted to say I'm particularly interested in being on your show because you're a founder and you're female, and I really wanted to support that. So, the minute you asked me, I was like very excited about that. But so, as you say, my name is Julie Garreau. I'm the executive director and founder of the Cheyenne River Youth Project. I am a Mini Koja Lakota from the Cheyenne River Reservation in South Dakota. And I have been with the organization, obviously, since its beginning back in 1988. And in that time, we have grown from this little one-room bar on Main Street that we retrofitted and turned into a youth center to now we have about a 5-acre campus where we offer all sorts of amazing things to our kids in our community, starting with a youth center for 4 to 12-year-olds, a teen center for 13 to 18-year-olds. We added an organic garden back in 2000, and we also opened an art park back in I think it was 2014 or 2015. So we have this amazing graffiti art park that all these spaces, all these creative spaces complement all the work that we're doing for the young people of Cheyenne River. And we have a farm to table cafe called the CAN Cafe. We have a gift shop. We have all sorts of internships in several different areas. So our kids are learning about sustainable agriculture and indigenous cooking and social entrepreneurship, as well as native wellness and other things. And we just added a creative writing internship. So I'm pretty excited. When we started that program, I think back in 2013, and since then we have graduated more than 1,500 kids over the past 7 or 8 years in the program. So I feel like CRYP is doing amazing work in our community, and the addition of the art park, which just has opened all sorts of doors and led us to where we are today, which is joining you to talk about the Red Can Graffiti Jam, all the different kinds of art classes that we have. Kids are learning about can control. There's just so many great things happening. And so I can tell you, I'm sure there's probably a lot of graffiti writers listening to this or watching this, which makes me a little nervous because that's not what I do. I have some of the graffiti writers who come to CRYP have certainly helped me and, taught me a few things, but that is not my strong suit. So being here is a real honor to be able to share with you what we're doing, talk about it, and I love it. I think it's an exciting thing that we can bring art and this culture, the Lakota culture and graffiti culture together. It's a really exciting idea. I think both cultures are somewhat controversial, so I think it's I think it's nice that we found our way together and now do this amazing community work.
It's so beautiful. The underdogs, the power of the underdogs and coming together. Before you show this video, I just want to say that I'm completely honored to have seen your work, for you to be a part of this, to learn that you founded this and you started this in the 80s, which is when a lot of these graffiti writers started writing as well. I just can't help but see that, and seeing how now these are the graffiti writers that are giving back to the youth. And what would the kids in this Lakota environment, what would they be doing if it wasn't for the graffiti jam? Red
Well,
Can?
sure. Well, we're an impoverished community, and we have a significant number of buildings that are dilapidated, old, closed houses, that type of thing. So, it's a really, and we had a lot of, I would call what was happening vandalism, a lot of tagging that went on. It wasn't any sort of organized kind of affair. Messaging, certainly. I think they were still sending messages to us, and I think we needed to listen to that. But what they're doing now is we've taken a lot of those old buildings, we've created amazing murals on it, and we've actually had buy-in from the entire community. What I really think is amazing is that we have created all these culturally relevant murals that our artists have helped us create. And the tagging that used to take place does not take place anymore. It does happen, every now and then, but nobody messes with the murals. Nobody touches the murals that we've worked so hard to create. So from what I understand about graffiti culture, often murals go up and then they come right back down. Somebody paints over it. It's a little different in Indian country because a lot of our murals are speaking to something very culturally relevant and beautiful for us. So often the murals will stay for a very long time. Scribe, who's a very good friend of the Cheyenne River Youth Project, is created one called Minimachoni, Water is Life. And that mural, I think, is well over 5 years old, and it looks great, and the people love it. And so, at some point, we're going to have to take it down and open that space up. But it's such a strong, beautiful message about the pipelines that are coming through Indian country that we do not want. So all that messaging is really tied up in what we're doing. So, things like that happen. And so the murals will stay for a while.
Beautiful, beautiful. Something that you mentioned about the graffiti culture is some of these murals staying for a long time and some of them coming up and being known to just be buffed right away. I think they both signify something very strong, as a lot of graffiti writers will say that they know that the mural's gonna get buffed, but that's also like life, like nothing is permanent, right? So like you
Right.
enjoy it and you treasure it and then you let it go and then you keep on going, and that's something that a lot of us get stuck with in life, and I think it's just a beautiful thing seeing everybody come together. Do you want to show us your trailer?
I would. Let me preface it with, so we have created a very strong arts program for the young people in our community. And one of the things that we are doing is we are building a new Waniatuawapi Arts and Culture Center, which will house our youth arts programming, but it will be located right in the center of the Waniatuawapi Art Park. Waniatuawapi in Lakota means winter count, which was a traditional way for us to tell our stories. So it was a perfect name. So we're building this new building, and this summer, 2021 July, during Red Can, we broke ground for that new facility. So this is just the trailer for the full film that is going to be released tomorrow. I have to give a little bit of credit to my brother and sister, Richard and Heather Steinberger, who were the beautiful artistic people behind this film. They also had other help, but they worked hours putting it together. So this is the trailer, and tomorrow you should watch the full film when it comes out. So
We will
I'm
show.
going to nervously try not to lose you. Share my screen, correct? Is that what I do?
Yes.
Okay. And
Thank you
I'm
for helping us with this.
yeah, well, I don't know anything about computers. So
Yeah, we were
that's right.
trying here.
Okay, here we go. So this is the trailer. Kind of amazing when you think about it. Here we are, located in the center of 3 million square acres. We have to drive 2.5 hours to get anywhere, 3 hours to the largest big city. I think we've embraced that. It's our life, but there was a time in our history when people told us how to dress and pray and what to eat, and you need to be a certain way, where I think it's empowering to know that now the reservation is the stronghold. It's where we come home, and we know that when we cross that river,
Wow. Just to give people an idea of how desolate these areas are. Can you talk to us a little bit about your background and what brought your passion to this organization or to find it? We're going to go backwards here. Who is
Yeah,
Julie?
sure. I think I was born into it. My parents were both were public servants. My father was a police officer. My mother was the director of an elderly nutrition program. So I grew up volunteering for my mom. I grew up with a lot of the elders who kind of just saw me, and I worked with them. I remember when I was a young girl, I grew up in Whitehorse, South Dakota. It was a population of 100. I remember a couple of my friends sitting around, and there wasn't a lot to do for young people. And I remember saying, like, I wanted to start a youth program for young girls. We talked about renovating a building. So I think it was kind of always my path. I didn't know it. I mean, I studied political science and history and criminal justice. And you know what, CRYP and we found each other, and it's been a lifelong passion of mine. And I still love it. I still believe in all that we do. And I think what's really amazing is that, we started out with a youth center, and now we have Red Can Invitational Graffiti Jam. So you never know where life's going to take you, but it's taken me some amazing places. Excuse me. So my background is serving my community. It's where I'm from. It's where I was born and raised.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. So,
Sorry.
as some of you may be familiar with, no problem. Some of you may be familiar, of course, now with some of our graffiti writers in our roster. We have an all-star team here, and it was East who introduced us to Red Can, and this is Julie's brother. And it's a very interesting Cherokee tribe, right? Like we're celebrating family resemblance, the evolution of Chicago-style graffiti, and a trickster has been educating us on this philosophy of family resemblance and what that means. And what the Cheyenne River Youth Project is family. It's so many people coming together and creating a family. Like you and East are not necessarily biological brothers and sister or Heather or but you guys have become that and really really believe that, and that's what's made a family out of this organization, and it's through the same passion for these kids, and that's such a beautiful thing. Last week we were here with TSEL, and TSEL has just been so excited to work with you guys. It seems like when somebody visits South Dakota and is exposed to this environment, they come back completely different. What is it about this energy? What goes on there? What are these traditions that happen that you think move people to this point of changing their lives?
I think that when you come, you will feel that. When you come to the Cheyenne River Youth Project, there's really amazing energy and good feelings, and we're very welcoming, and it's a very Lakota kind of behavior. Is that we're very much about our family, and what happens, I think, when people come to the Cheyenne River Youth Project is that they meet other artists, and they see it's 100% not about them. They get to practice their trade, their craft, of course. They mingle with other artists, they share their designs, but it's different because you're doing something for someone else. So I don't know. I mean, somebody had said to me that, when you come to the Cheyenne River Youth Project or you're part of Red Can, you really do, you have to leave your ego at the door because it's really 100% about a community and lifting up kids and lifting up the arts and supporting the work that we're trying to do. And I think they feel that. They come back. We start every day with a Lakota ceremony. We pray. We end the day the same way. That happens all throughout the week. We share meals together. We share our Lakota foods with them. I think they just get to hear, and they see the challenges that we have, and they just naturally kind of melt into the family that we have. So like you said, like Heather and Richard and East and I and another woman from Ireland, Winifred, we went through a ceremony and we adopted each other in a Lakota ceremony. So it is a little different, but even though we've not done a ceremony for everybody else, everybody who comes is no less family, and I feel like every Red Can, when those people who have come every year, because I think East has come every single year, so has Biafra, so has Wonder. I think they feel like they're just at home. They feel like the community becomes their home. And, in the very beginning, when we started to put the murals up, people loved them. But when we took them down a year later, people were really a little resentful and angry because of what are you doing? Well, now people are very accustomed. Oh, it's Red Can. These are the artists, And when you watch the film, you're going to hear like some of the comments that the artists feel about how people come up to them, they talk to them, they get to know each other, they get to know the community. So I think it's just a combination, but mostly I think it's because they also come with a really open heart and a really open mind. And I will spend time talking to the new artists who are joining us about, what to expect, what's going to happen. So I think we build a relationship long before they get there. And, being Lakota people, when you arrive, you are a guest and we will treat you very, very well. So I think that just naturally creates a family. And I've just, the people who have come, East, Scribe, Sci-Fi, Wonder, TSEL, everyone just, they just feel at home, I think. And I think part of it is just the prayer, it's the food, it's the welcoming, it's the warmth, it's all those things. But I, I think it's just something that just happens. I don't know how else to explain it, except that it's good energy. It's good people coming together for a good cause.
Souls and spirits coming together, like you said, for a good cause. It sounds like what we've been talking a lot about during this celebration is talking about hip hop and that fifth element that a lot of people forget about, which is everything that you just described. So I think that it makes a lot of sense for graffiti writers to find themselves in some kind of home because, like you said, ego has to be left at the door, and that's something that we have not been able to take away from graffiti because it comes from like a competitive nature, which is understandable, but it's also something that has been used as a very healthy outlet. And so I think it's a great thing what you're doing. I cannot be more grateful to have met you and to be a part of this conversation and to be able to share this with the public. Now, I've heard many stories, and I watched the documentary, and I saw the emotion that went on. And some of these stories, I want to talk a little bit more about the kids. What age groups are at this center, and where do they come from? What have these kids been exposed to?
Well, I mean, I think that our kids are ages anywhere from 4 to 18 because that's who we serve. So we make sure that we cater to all the ages through our youth programming. So we have volunteers that come from the different colleges, universities. We have people coming all the time from different places. And so they will plan activities for the kids. So it's all the kids are engaged in that.
And
And I
it's
think,
not just graffiti. You have dance, and you have other things going on, as you
yep,
mentioned, writing. So it's all
yep.
kinds of development.
All sorts of things. And it really is that we're trying to achieve that festival type of environment. And we just want the kids to have a really great time. We want them to start to learn that, spray painting isn't necessarily just bad. It's not, it doesn't mean that it's bad, and it's quite beautiful, and it's really a craft and an art. So, we teach that. We teach can control. We teach all those things, with the kids. And even for the little ones, we'll use chalk spray paint so that they get to be a part of it. So we include everybody. We also have other traditional artists who come and teach painting or pastels and that type of thing. Those guys are doing their work on the side. We have volunteers who are, planning, like last year, I think they had like balloon fights and that kind of thing because it was really hot. So all the kids get engaged in some manner. I think one group they taught them how to make birdhouses, and then they painted them, and then they hung them in the garden. So there's a lot of different things that are just engaging kids. And the kids really come from all sorts of backgrounds, just like anywhere. Some of them will have a tougher time in the home. Some of them will, everything will be okay. But again, we are here for young people, and we will invite them to join us in any way that we can. So it's, they're coming from very challenging situations. And, I would say any kid now is coming from a challenging situation with COVID constantly hovering and not going away. So, trying to learn virtually, trying to, still have a normal school year without, having all those sports and that kind of thing. So I would say all the kids are coming to us with a challenge of some sort. you live in a community that's impoverished. And I intentionally do not say poor, because I think we are very rich in culture and language and all the other things. But financially, I think that is a challenge for. There's a lot of economic injustice in our community. So I think that's also just important to remember. And I think that when the artists come, they see that, and I think that also ties them even stronger. But as I watch them, so the other thing about coming to our graffiti jam is you do have to like kids. You do have to want to work with kids. That is a
Yeah, I
big thing.
hope so.
Yeah. And I know other people have expressed an interest. We're like, well, you're going to be working with kids. And they're like, oh, okay. And that kind of just clears it up right away. So, we're looking for people who want to be a part of that, growing kids, helping them create and talking to them and making them feel. I think when you watch the film, 179 had some really kind of really moving words for me, even for me. And she talked about that we're sending the message that our kids matter. And I hope so. I hope that really is the message that I've been trying to send for 33 years. And so, 179 said it very, very well. And she's kind of an amazing, amazing powerhouse, too. So I don't know if you've had a chance to meet her, but you will.
Mm-mm.
And I don't know. It's just kids are coming from tough situations. Some are not, some are tougher, some are very tough. So it's a combination.
Thank you, and you're embracing them all. Something that you said earlier, before when the kids were just tagging, there were the messages. It seems like everybody just has something to say, and that's a way of releasing, right? Like you can write in your journal, you could write on the walls, but you're writing something because you're trying to release something. And so for it to be able to be organized with leaders, I think is helping them release
Mhm.
those messages and helping them express themselves in a more creative way. Now, now you are planning, or the organization is planning a trip to Chicago March 4th for the opening of Family Resemblance, the evolution of Chicago-style graffiti. We are so excited and so honored to have you and to be able to work with the Epiphany Center and for CAN TV for this platform to allow us to interview every single one of the writers on that roster. We have an all-star Chicago roster coming from all sides of Chicago, coming together for this celebration of Chicago-style graffiti, and not just graffiti, but the hip-hop celebration of this very important movement for the kids, and to hopefully leave a really good message for forever, for centuries to come. Um, there's so much ego, as we mentioned, and there's so many politics, like with everything else. But it's important that we think of the youth and put the youth first, right?
Right, absolutely, absolutely. And East has been coming, I think, every year. So where are we in a seventh or eighth year? That name's becoming familiar with people around here. So they recognize folks, and they see each other. And I think one of the gentlemen in our movie said, it's good. People are coming here to give us a helping hand, not a handout. They're coming to help us up. And I love that. It's so empowering for both parties, for the artists, for us. And that's what families do for each other, right? That's what they do. And we're looking forward to coming to Chicago.
Thank you.
I really hope that this COVID craziness doesn't stop us, because every time we turn around, where something's being canceled. So but the minute I found out about the exhibition, I told East I wanted to be there to support him. But I think it's also a learning opportunity for me, because you imagine, there was a day when I would have, been convinced, and I saw trains, or I saw this, and it was just vandalism. That's what I'd been taught. And now I am very excited, because people around me, they see an artist they recognize. I think they send me pictures of that, and I'm like, that's so cool. We're changing something. It's a movement, and I
Yes.
really feel good about it. And it's it's these are some of the greats that are coming to Cheyenne River, and I could not be more grateful.
That is beautiful. That's a beautiful thing that you're doing. You're keeping hip hop alive without calling it hip hop, just by doing. So thank you for that. And we look forward to having you. Is there anything that you want to leave the audience with before we end their session for this evening?
I think I would just say tomorrow the full film drops. So if you get a chance, visit our website, lakotayouth.org. Check it out. I think that'll even tell more of a story. Red Can Graffiti Jam is coming up July, I think, 6th through the 9th. If you want to stop in and say hello to us, that kind of thing. But yeah, we always have really cool things involving arts happening, and we're just grateful for the opportunity to tell our story. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I just want to share this picture. I couldn't get it on the screen because we were having issues, but let me see if I could do this. Oh, let's see. Overhead. Overhead. Okay, this is just on my phone, but maybe the audience can see. Let me see if I maybe zoom in. Nope, that's not me. That's the box. And that's my hand. Okay, so it looks like if I bring this closer, yes. Okay, it's a little bit blurry, but this looks like it's a spray can group. We have TSEL here, we have CRYP, we have East, and many other Chicago writers, or writers from all over the world, really. Actually, there's Julie right here. Thank you so much. We'll share this photo and link to the video within our medias as well, so that you guys can all watch them. And please, please, please register for panel 2 discussion. We had panel 1 where we introduced East, Fez, Oracle, Slang, Trickster, moderated by first generation graffiti writer Nick Fury. And now we're having panel discussion 2 with B-Boy B, Drastic, Pengo, Take Two, and Warp, moderated by TSEL, also first generation graffiti writer who was with us last week. We are very excited to continue to celebrate Family Resemblance, the evolution of Chicago-style graffiti. We thank you, Julie, and all for all that you do, all of your team. Thank you so much, and thank you, CAN TV, all the audience. We'll see you again next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.